Reverend Aaliyah Kemmler, minister of First Parish Church of Groton, Massachusetts. I am so glad you are here. We are a community seeking to deepen spiritually, to take care of one another, and to be a blessing to this world. Unitarian Universalism is a faith for all. So whoever you are, whatever country you come from, whoever you love, whatever you've done, whatever your abilities, challenges, or gifts, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here in this virtual and also very real community. If you would like more information about First Parish Church, about our programs, small groups, or anything else, just email us at welcome@uugroton.org and someone will get right back to you. If you are local to Groton, Massachusetts, know that you are welcome to join us every Sunday at 10 a.m. outside for in-person services in front of our meeting house. Since this pandemic began, we have been through a lot and we have learned a lot. And one of the things we have learned is that our sanctuary is not confined to a building. We create it together, right here and right now. So whether you are here on Sunday afternoon or any other time, I invite you to come on in, to rest for a while, to receive hope and strength. You are so welcome here. As has become our tradition, I will ring the meditation bell 3 times to begin our service, and I invite you to breathe deeply, to remember that you are whole, you belong wholly upon this earth, and you are held in the love which holds us all. So this first breath is for you. The second one is for your loved ones. And the third one is for the world. There are some chairs in this middle section, up front and in the middle of the middle, if anybody would like to sit down who is not yet seated. And we've got some more chairs coming. What a wonderful problem to have. So we get to sing. Our opening hymn is Mourning Has Broken. The lyrics are on the yellow sheet, which I realize that neither one of us has, so if somebody would bring a couple up to the front, thank you so much. Julie? Oh, I know. Christina is going to lead us in the singing, Will You Rise in Body or in Spirit?
Blackbird has spoken, like the first bird.
Please be seated. That was so beautiful. That was the first time we have sung together in 19 months. I know. The chalice is the symbol of our inclusive, resilient, welcoming faith. Donna Nowak will light the chalice this morning with words she wrote just for today.
Good morning. In case you haven't noticed, things are different. What was easy before, like taking for granted that we could hop in the car to see a relative or send our kids to school or hug a friend, is now stressful or even not possible. In many ways, it's not a simple restart from where we were before. This is a completely new beginning. That old chutes and ladders game changed. We no longer land on a chute that sends us to the beginning to start over again. Now we land on a chute that bounces us off of the game board and onto an entirely new one with different, harder, never heard of before rules. So my 6-year-old self says, no fair. I don't want to play anymore. So what is it that makes us want to give up when things change and get harder? What tells us not to ask for help, but rather withdraw at the cost of difficulty or even suffering? It could be fear of showing weakness, but more likely, it's that we don't want to be a burden to others. And I can back that up because I've been on the First Parish Caring Committee for a really long time, trying to convince people to let us help them. This new beginning of ours is like a big global system reboot after installing a much different version of software. Or to use my favorite football analogy, we all had to drop back and punt. It's hard, yes, but remember, since we're in it together, no one has to go through it alone. Talking. Not emailing or texting, but actually talking to someone about a difficulty is a sign of strength, not weakness. It affirms that we are committed to doing what it takes to stay strong, and then perhaps be able to help another at some later time. Asking for help to move forward is an expression of gratitude for what is received. Gratitude expressed is love. Gratitude expressed is love. I can think of no better way of starting anew than to be surrounded by love.
Let's sing together our response. We will remain seated and sing together Spirit of Life by Carolyn McDade, first in Spanish, translated by Lilia Cuervo and Ervin Barrios, and then in English, and Christina will lead us. Cynthia, are you here? She's coming. Cynthia Williams is our new Sunday morning religious education coordinator. So I want you to have a chance to meet her, and for the children especially to know who she is. Here she is. And Cynthia is going to introduce our time for all generations.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I'm Cynthia Williams, and I'm the new religious education coordinator. I've lived in Groton about 4 years, and I have a background in school psychology and college admissions, and I've done a whole bunch of different things, and this is my next adventure. So thank you so much for everyone for welcoming me here. I have 2 young children myself, ages 3 for Leo and 5 for Beth. My husband Eric is here too. They're around the corner. And today I'd like to talk to the children for just a moment. We're going to say our words for gathering together. Say them with me, and we will do the hand motions together.
We'll do the hand motions up here if you need us to.
Thank you. We are Unitarian Universalists with minds that think, hearts that love, and hands ready to help. Today, I'm happy to be able to introduce Reverend Rob Kinslow to the congregation. Rob is a UU minister and a magician, and he is combining both of those passions. He's created a way to teach UU principles and values through magic in a program called UU Magic Lab. Rob will be working with our youth in grades 5 and above this fall. Some of you have gotten a chance to meet Rob at the Backpack Blessing, and we wanted to invite him to give everyone a little taste of magic, UU magic today. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. As Cynthia said, my name is Rob. I'll be your magician this morning. And I'm really delighted to be here and that I was invited to share a little magic with you. I'm really looking forward to meeting my new Magic Lab students in just a few moments. But right now, a moment of magic. Some of you have heard me say previously that when we practice our Unitarian Universalist principles, magic happens. And I think that's particularly true of our first principle. So pop quiz, can anybody say what our first principle is? Just shout it out, don't be shy.
The inherent worth and dignity of every human being.
The inherent worth and dignity. Respect for the inherent worth and dignity of every person. To treat everyone kindly. So I brought some friends with me today that are going to help me talk a little bit more about that. I have these 3 robes, and I'd like to, if it's okay, have some audience members inspect them to make sure that they're not some kind of trick rope. Is that okay to do?
Yeah. And then 2 people inspect them.
So give them a good test, make sure there are no trapdoors, no threads, no mirrors, it's not magic shop rope. It's just what it appears to be, solid rope, not some kind of stretcho rope, okay? Good? Okay, verified by our audience. Normal rope. And can everybody see? Great. So as you can see, we're starting out with 3 pieces of rope, and as you can plainly see, they're all the same. I hear some skeptics in the audience. Oh, they are different lengths. That's true. But I said something different, didn't I? I said they were all the same. Just like you and I and everyone is all the same in some ways. We all have an inherent worth and dignity down deep inside. And I'll prove to you we're all the same. Who here likes to laugh? All right, who likes ice cream? Oh, I see one person back there, okay. And who likes to get presents? You see, we're all the same. But you and I know that sometimes in our world, not everyone is seen and treated as equal, even though we come in all different lengths, all different shapes and sizes and colors and beliefs and political parties. So that's why we need to practice our first principle. Unitarian Universalists, we need to gather ourselves and practice that principle and really step up and step out and speak for social justice. You might say we need to stretch beyond our comfort zones till one day everyone is seen and treated as equal. Everyone free. Everyone safe. Everyone loved. Everyone seen and treated as equal under the watchful eyes of love. And that is real magic. And that's first principle, and that's magic you can do. But it gets even better. When we join in community and practice our first principle, we become like one big, human, loving family, a world we could all envision, brought together just like these 2 ropes have magically blended together into one long rope. I don't hear any applause. I've stunned you into silence. But somebody, you don't like the knot here, I take it. No? How about if we move it? If we gather ourselves into community and practice our first principle and use a little bit of magic, we are one big, loving, human family. And that's the first principle. And that's my story, and that's your magic. Thank you for listening.
Reverend Magic. That's my Rob. Rob and I go back to the beginning of Sarking's School for the Ministry together, and I'm so honored to be his friend and colleague. Good morning, I am Lee Kinvey. I'm your intern minister. I use they, them pronouns. And in a moment, we're going to send our kids off to sing. We're going to send our kids off singing to do magic and to do whatever else they do in religious education this morning. And we'll be singing Go Now in Peace through twice. We'll stay seated for that. Again, if you haven't registered your child, just go with them around the corner to the side of the meeting house. All ages will start together. We are starting a new ritual today, and we are going to be giving Cynthia a small chalice to bring with the kids. So each class will have their own chalice with them as they gather. And our hope is that this will help us remember that we're all part of one community and that church happens in lots of different places. So we get to sing, and kiddos, you can follow Cynthia. Wonderful. I am so in love with our reading this morning. It's by a woman whose deep and interesting work I have been sponsoring on Patreon for 3 or 4 years now. Aurora Levins Morales is a Puerto Rican Jewish writer, artist, historian, activist, and many other things. She wrote this gorgeous piece on August 30th this year, before Rosh Hashanah began. So we will link her website. Hello, motorbikes. We are downtown. We will link her website in the YouTube version of church and in the NNO this week. And I'm going to invite Avery Leaning to come up and offer this incredible reading.
Just, take off your mask. Okay. Thank you.
Is this good? Okay. Let them go like birds released from cages. Let them go like fruit rinds giving themselves to the soil. Let them go like pebbles rolling away underfoot on a steep trail. Let them go like crumbs scattered for the pigeons. Let them go like sweat dripping from our brows. If we have messed up, let it go into the great compost heap and become nutrients for new seeds, intentions, blessings, pink-blossomed azure ripe with tender food. If others have hurt us, let clean water irrigate the wounds and let the runoff water effortless gardens that spring up between the furrows of sleeping fields, between the cracks of unswept sidewalks, take over the untended lawns. Let grudges crumble to dust. Let shame dissolve into loam. Let each harsh word we hurl at ourselves be turned into petals before they land. Let everything, all of it, be recycled. Let the trash become jewels we string into necklaces and drape around each other's necks. Let us enter the year of follows burdenless, loose-limbed, lie down on the dark earth, do nothing. Let tiny rootlets emerge from our fingers. Let ourselves be covered with moss, and instead of doing, become the sapling students of the elder trees. And be ourselves into the new year. And be ourselves toward the new world that waits, like an autumn bulb packed with unimagined colors, ready to wake and bloom just under the skin of what is.
Now I want to invite all of us worshiping online into a time of meditation and prayer. It starts here, in this moment, in the breath you feel rising in your chest. It starts here, the healing, the hunger, the hope, the courage, the calling, the commitment. It begins now, in this song we sing, in this prayer we bring into being, from our hearts to our lips, from our hands to our life, our shared life. It starts here with praise and thanksgiving, with forgiveness, and this humble, centering confession that we could be wrong. It starts here, this promise we make to keep learning, to keep trying, to keep our sense of humor, to keep close this knowing that we are all in this together. The words of today's prayer are in the spirit of Yom Kippur and much adapted from Rob Eller Isaacs. On Yom Kippur, congregations intone all together, speaking out loud together a long recitation of misdeeds. They do this numerous times over the course of long days of services. And in Jewish congregations, they say, we have done these things, not I have done these things. And that's not because every person has made every mistake that's being atoned for, but because we are all in this together. We're never alone in our brokenness, our human messiness, our shame. There is freedom and healing in telling the truth about it, and in remembering that we're all still practicing how to be human, still learning how to love. So you have a part to say after each part of the prayer. I invite you into these words. We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. May the spirit of prayer be on our house. For staying silent when we could have said or done something to interrupt a hurt or an injustice, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For all the times we have been rigid and self-righteous, resentful, and have judged both loved ones and strangers without knowing the whole story, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time we have gotten angry or defensive, instead of welcoming an uncomfortable, difficult truth. For the times we weren't able to soften and open, we forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For each time we opted for what's familiar and comfortable, instead of opening to something or someone different or new, and thereby shut down possibilities of more love and connection, We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For using our precious energy trying to be perfect. For trying to earn love instead of living lovingly. For trying to control life rather than accepting it as the amazing gift it is. We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. For these and for all the ways we pretend we're not all interconnected. We pretend we don't need to live together on this small planet. We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. And for the shame we carry, for the ways we've hurt both the ones we love and strangers, sometimes without even knowing we've done it. For the pain we have caused through words we have said or didn't say, and deeds we have done or left undone. We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. Now, typically, the joys and concerns and prayers offered in our in-person services are not posted here online. But today we make one exception for a very special blessing and joy offered by Greg Baker for his friend Brittany, who has become an important part of the First Parish Groton community and who, like you, joins us virtually.
So this is for the joy and wonder of addiction recovery for all of the people who are currently in recovery. But I particularly want to do a shout out of joy to a very, very special young lady by the name of Brittany. She's going to be watching this later, so happy recovery, Britt.
We're so celebrating with you, Brittany. We hold in prayer today Karen A., who is still hospitalized, and her whole family. We pray for Pamela's nephew in New Orleans and his family, for Bob's sister Anne, who has ongoing medical complications, for Jackie's mother Sandy, as she heals from surgery and starts chemotherapy. We hold in love Irv's brother Tom, Carol's sister Lois, Christopher, Doris, Wendy, Martha's nephew Jeremy, Mary D., and Bob S. And I ask that we hold in tender prayer the spirit of Isaiah, who died too young on September 7th. And I ask that we hold his parents, Nikki and Rick, and his big sister Janessa, in our love and prayers. And in good news, Mary's mother Janet is out of the hospital and doing well. And Katie's husband Jim is doing well. And I hope you all know in the virtual community that you may always send us an email to have your prayers included and spoken in our virtual service. We pray on this new morning, at the beginning of this new year, for strength and compassion. It starts here, in this prayer. In this prayer we bring into being, from our hearts to our lips, from our hands to our life, to our shared life. Amen, and blessed be. Just one more announcement before the offering. If you are local, you're welcome to our weekly Vigil for Black Lives on Sunday late morning now. We're gathering at a new time starting today, 11:30 to about 12:30, so just a little bit after services. We hope this will allow more people to join in our vigil. Our Our generosity has sustained this congregation during the last 19 months. Our generosity is how we came to this moment, and it is what allows us to continue to offer our mission of deepening spiritually, taking care of one another, and being a blessing to this world. Donations in any amount are so welcome and so much appreciated. If you're visiting for the first time today, please consider this service a gift. Let the box pass you by. The morning offering will now be gratefully given and even more gratefully received.
Let's see if I remember how to do this. Can you hear me? Okay, good. So Thursday was Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the Jewish year. As many of you know, Yom Kippur is a day to reflect deeply on the year which has passed and to try to put down some of what we don't want or need to carry in order to enter into a new year a little bit lighter, a little bit freer. The work of the Jewish high holidays is the work of letting go. This work is so human, so important for us all. The letting go of grudges and mistakes, both our own and the ones made upon us. The letting go of shame and intentions not lived up to, harsh words spoken and heard. The letting go of fear and pretense, and all of the ways that we keep our hearts protected when we don't need to. All of the tenderness we hide from others. The beauty we don't create or express for fear of being judged. The letting go of all of the times we were not faithful to ourselves or kind. As Aurora Levins Morales writes so beautifully, the new year is the time to put this into the compost heap, where it can become nutrients for new seeds, new intentions, new blessings. It's hard work. And it usually happens just a little bit at a time, which is why we get another chance to practice every year. I've been thinking so much this year about what it means to begin again. As we re-emerge from this strange pandemic time, not because it is over, it is just changing, and we are learning how to live in this phase of it. There are not so many times in a life when we really get a new beginning. I think of my child who is in her first month of college, and truly everything is new for her. And of course, we begin new jobs and new relationships. We move to new places, new homes. But for most of us, most of the time, we don't start over. Certainly not completely. We don't start new because we are ourselves, after all, with all of our experience and struggles and strengths. And even as we are constantly changing, we also bring ourselves with us wherever we go. But we can start again. And sometimes, often, we start again and again and again. Not over, but again. And that seems like an important difference to me. The coming back, the return. I learned this in a small, but for me, important way during the pandemic time when I was at home, more than I'd ever been in my adult life, and I wasn't driving Isabel to school, and I wasn't attending meetings most nights of the week. And I realized that time was not the reason. That I didn't exercise every day, that I didn't take up an instrument again, that I didn't cook as much as I say I want to cook, that I didn't learn to knit, even though my daughter tried so hard to teach me. It wasn't time. It was about the practice. It was about the act of returning. It was about giving myself permission to just keep coming back, no matter how imperfect and frustrating. So I chose exercise to try to keep coming back to. And I did all of these different things, and I jumped and flailed and jogged around my living room over and over, and I hated everything until I found something. I found Pilates, of all things, and something about it just worked for me, and I kept coming back, missing days, liking it, hating it, getting stronger, weeks of what felt like not getting stronger, things getting easier, things getting harder again, and here I am still at it. I probably will lose my rhythm again, but when I do, I hope I will remember that I can come back. There is such healing and power in the starting again, in the return. Greg Baker has been one of my most important teachers in this. As many of you know, he works at Tewksbury State Hospital in the addictions unit, and he has for many years. And when he talks about addiction and recovery, He says, you can never know how many times a person will try to get sober before the time that really takes, the time that lasts, if not forever, then longer. And even if it doesn't last forever, we can start again. And I have seen Greg live that. He does not give up on people. And I believe that it is his faith in them, his belief that people can start again and again, is what has helped some of his patients to do exactly that. A few months ago, I was asked to come to a hospital to bless a man who was dying. One of his adult children asked me to come. And I got to hear the story of their relationship and how her father had struggled with addiction. I got to hear about their years of estrangement and how he had come to live with her at the end of his life on the condition that he stopped drinking, and how he did stop drinking. I got to hear about how they found each other again and had this time, short though it was, of deep tenderness and healing. And it was hard, and it was messy and imperfect and sweet. The story of their starting again, of their return to one another, was humbling and beautiful. She told me we just found our way back to each other. We got to start again at the very end. We started again. Starting again will look different for all of us. A few years ago, Sal Lombardi lit the chalice for our Sunday service closest to Yom Kippur. And he said words I have kept close to my heart every year at this time. He told us Yom Kippur, the task of it, the spirit of it, is for all of us who want to believe that change is always possible and it is never too late to start again. So Lee will introduce our closing hymn.
Come and Go With Me to That Land is an African-American spiritual, probably from the 1800s. In it, the singer is sort of journeying, moving from where they are to a better place. And each cycle of the song points to a different kind of place that the singer wants to go to. And many also think that the African enslaved people used this song to signal that the singer was planning an escape and inviting others to join them. Rise as you are able. Missed it, thanks.
Nice. So I will invite you to remain standing as you are able just for a moment while we say our benediction. After the benediction, will you be seated for the postlude music? And will the grown-ups of children who are in 4th grade or younger go to collect them during the music so you can be reunited without the chaos. I will also invite you following the postlude music to bring your chairs around to the side if you are able, and if you are not able, do not worry about it at all. So, will you put a hand on your heart? With the other, reach out, and let's take a moment to look around at one another. We are connected. We are tied together with strong and sturdy threads of love.
Go in peace and be a blessing to this world.